Today's lesson is on value. Value in the elements of art is not the same as value as in what something is worth. It is not money, it is darkness to light, it is the shading of an object. Value in art is when you take a color or a stroke and it goes from the darkest part of it all the way out and lightens to the lightest part of it. Today, for this project, you are going to use a pencil, a crayon, watercolors, a colored pencil. You can use any writing tool that you have, and you're going to practice going from the darkest to the lightest. Or you can start out on the lighter end and then just get darker with it. To create value in art, you can use pressure. So if you take your pencil and turn it sideways, you can make your pencil create or distribute the darkest amount of pigment that it has in it. And then you lighten up the pressure as you move towards the light end. And this is going to help you create value. We're going to use a pencil, a color pencil, watercolor, and a crayon to create some value for you. Another way you can create value is how close together you place your marking or a line. So like in cross hatching, the closer your lines are together or the thicker a line you make, the darker that area is going to be. And then as you space out the lines or thin out the lines, the area is going to look lighter. So it's just another fun way to make value. We're going to hold for just a second on value and discuss coloring with a crayon. This is a little pet peeve we have in art class. Crayons are a pigment that have been mixed with a wax. And depending on the recipe that the manufacturer used, you will have a different distribution of pigment to your paper or your surface that you're coloring. The more wax that is in the crayon, the less pigment is going to be on your paper and more wax buildup. So we're not fans of cheaply made crayons because of the wax buildup, at least in a project where we're trying to just color and add value or make something look pretty with crayons. If you want a waxy buildup that you can scrape off the wax, that's great, use a cheap crayon. But for this, we want to help kids learn that you want to use your crayon to make your coloring look visually appealing. Don't color all willy-nilly. Don't go in all different directions. Practice doing close together coloring strokes. Keep it close together in the area that you're coloring and move slowly across what you're coloring. And this is going to make the artwork look clean and neat and pretty. It's also going to allow you to be able to be in more control of where you want darker to lighter areas in your coloring. Crayons can only distribute a certain limit, a certain amount to what they're going to allow you to color, because eventually the wax just builds up on there, and they allow you a little bit of layering, but not as much as, say, a colored pencil or paint is going to allow. All right, so we're just going to draw a couple of shapes here and then show you coloring close together and in the same direction, not all willy-nilly. So you can see how the heart has a darker to a lighter tone of color being distributed, and that is because I was able to use small little circular motions very close together, and that just allows the crayon to blend in a pretty clean way. One of the worksheets in this lesson is our Bible verse worksheet that we love to do. It is from Psalms 27, verse 1. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? A lot of times we fear the dark. We fear the unknown, the mystery. We fear what we can't see because we can't see in the dark. Without light, we can't see anything. And it's just so amazing that the very first thing God said that we have recorded in the Bible, the very first verse opening up in Genesis 1, gives us that in the beginning it was dark. And the very first thing God said, let there be light. Because without light, you can't see. Without light, everything is dark. So the very first thing God created for us is light. And light allows us to see color. It allows us to see value. Light takes away the mystery in the darkness. Light takes away what is unknown. Light brings things to the surface where you can see them. And God wants you to know that He is light. Now, the psalmist, the writer of Psalms 27 is saying, the Lord is my light. And that is a reminder for us to know that God is light. He is your light. And with Him, you can see clearly in this world that sometimes just seems dark. You can trust Him. You do not need to be afraid when you have God. You do not need to be fearful. It doesn't mean we won't have moments where we do have fear or the emotions of fear or being afraid. But we have to be reminded that God is light, that He is trustworthy, that we can put our faith in Him.